You're listening to Rodney Rogers Outdoors Radio, where we turn it upside down and look at the outside from the inside out. It's safe, it's legal, and we're having a blast. So put your shoes on, my friend, because we're going outdoors.
Good evening, outdoors. This is Rodney Rogers Outdoors. I'm Rodney Rogers, partner and coach East in crime, and the man over at the switchboard there, Michael Core.
Can you feel it?
I can feel it. What's it? Upset stomach? You got something bug flu? Got stomach bug?
Can you feel it? Just a tinge of fall in the air today.
Oh, actually, yes. You would, yes.
Ever so
it
slightly.
It dropped down to like 92 today.
Ever so slightly. Yeah.
Wind chill factor of 95.
And you can concur, probably being a motorcycle rider.
Yes. How exciting.
You're much more in tune.
And a hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Oh, yeah. You know when the fall's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tonight, driving home just on the motorcycle.
Actually, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I rode in with my windows down.
Yeah, you're much more in tune with things like, how fast the pavement's going underneath you, how much sand the truck in front of you is kicking up, and
who spit out the window.
Yeah, probably mostly that the driver driving that van in front of you is smoking something that's probably not legal.
You're kind of swerving on the road.
In this state, as of now. So many more things you notice on a motorcycle.
How long did you ride behind that guy?
Have you ever noticed that?
Oh, yeah.
You really can.
Dude, yeah.
You want to pull the guy over and go, just to give you a heads up.
If I was a motorcycle
you
cop,
can smell that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny how those guys think that they're the only ones that can smell that.
Oh, it's vivid.
Is it me, or through the years has it gotten worse?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, just a tinge of fall on the air driving home tonight.
Actually, it is. And fall means a lot of things for us. One, we got motorcycles, so we get to ride them. We got hunting season coming. There's so many. I mean, now is when most outdoor guys switch from fishing season to hunting season. The fishermen that just solely fish, they start to slow down. Gear starts to get put up, and during the winter they don't fish as much. And then, but the guys who do it all, man, they're just, it's like a switch turns on.
Are there guys who are primarily fishermen
Absolutely.
and then shut it down, or primarily hunters but don't? I mean, I'd love to take a poll, hunter or fisherman,
or we get both. That poll. Yeah, there are guys that all they do is hunt. They really, they just don't enjoy fishing.
Yeah.
And they live for that hunting season. And there are guys who obviously are vice versa, and they only do the fishing. And then there are guys, check this out, that do both, but they have that ability that when it's hunting season, they vomit to look at their fishing pole. They just will not grab a fish. But someone go, dude, man, fish are biting. They switch it off. It's not time to fish. It's this hunting season. I'm not fishing. And then you got guys like me. It's like, man, I got a rifle in one hand, a pole in the other.
Anything and everything, yeah.
Yeah, and whatever's the hottest, that's where I'm going. I mean, there's those guys are out there.
Yeah, be curious. Thought about putting a poll on our Facebook page.
That would be neat.
For just simple. First of all, hunter or fisherman.
Yeah, you know what? And that would help.
If you had to choose that, and then like fisherman, freshwater, saltwater. Be curious to break that down and just get some.
Is there a way to do that?
Yeah. We'll put a poll. We could probably do it all in one.
And just take that.
Several polls. Hunter, fisherman, or both.
Right.
Because like you say, there's got to be a person. Somebody might not want to choose. It might be equally all. Anything and everything, just like yourself.
Yeah. That's me. Now I used to be the guy that would switch that off. It's hunting season. It's time to hunt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And couldn't pick a fishing pole up. And then I realized, man, when I started the saltwater fishing, then and now I fish. I try to primarily fish, obviously all the time, but when the days are hard, when I know it's hard fishing, I like to go out and fish and then post the videos on how did I do it on this day that it's so freaking hot.
Yeah.
It's 95 degrees, midday, in a time that it's not supposed to be, and how did I catch these fish?
Yeah.
To kind of let people know you can do it if you truly want to just get out.
Well, maybe throw a poll up on our Facebook
a good
page
idea.
so we can get some feedback.
I like your thinking, man.
Thanks, man.
How was your weekend, Mike Coy?
It was good.
Anything exciting?
Yeah, you know what? I'm ignoring the question, not because for any reason, just
Right.
ignoring it.
That's cool.
I was thinking last Wednesday. I mean, we do the show once a week.
Right.
And I was a little frustrated when Wednesday a young man got bit by a gator
Yes.
in Lake Tahoe.
One day after.
One day after our show, because now I'm thinking it's going to be old news.
By the time we get a hold of it.
Like, we need to go live right now. Because the next morning you're on 104.1 and you're hitting all these airwaves talking about things that you and I should have been talking about at the moment. I'm like,
right.
I have to wait an entire 6 days.
You know what we could do, like an emergency on site. Hi, this here's reporting Rodney Rogers right here live at the lake. Look at that crystal clear water. There's danger that lurks upon that.
I know you're talking to Russ on the radio. I'm going, that should have been me.
Yes, well, let's talk about that for a few minutes. Yeah.
Because when I heard that when it first got broadcast, and I mean not just any gator, not just any lake, but your backyard. I mean, This was Lake Tahoe. This is your growing up stomping grounds, or part of them, you know.
Well, this was actually East Lake. Now we got two lakes. We have East and West.
Oh, there's my ignorance.
Yeah. So East Lake. Now East Lake.
Now they're connected or not connected?
They're only connected by a
canal.
A canal. That's exactly right. East Lake Tahoe runs into West Lake Tahoe. Now you can't drive the two. You know, you can't go between. Right. There's a dam and it's not navigable. It's only by water. So.
Do we talk about, is this old news? Am I just
I think it's very valid news.
Just frustrated.
There's people that listen to us that was probably ignoring that all the way up till they got to our
They're like, I'm not listening to anything until Rodney talks about it.
Until Rodney talks about it.
Exactly.
So yeah, this kid, and I grew up. I lived partially in St. Cloud, literally 6 blocks from where that boy got attacked. I've done that same thing.
Well, first of all, there is a swimming area in
they have a designated
in that area.
Swimming area.
What are they
got? The whole lake
roped off or
exactly.
netted off?
There's
or
no
something?
vegetation, so it's just a real nice sandy lake.
Is it divided from the rest of the lake, or just because there's no vegetation there it makes it safer?
It's kind of, they have signs up that say swimming area,
no gators
lifeguards
allowed
on duties, no gators allowed,
okay.
You know, that kind of thing.
Sure.
And then they have an area where you just jump in the lake. I mean, you know, you're a Florida boy. You just jump in. You don't need a rhyme or reason. You just do it. And that kid's probably done it 1,000 times, riding his bicycle. It's hot. Hey, I'm jumping in the lake real quick. Get wet and then get back on your bike and go. Because I know, because I've done it in that same place.
Now, you mentioned on the other radio station,
right?
That
the other one,
that you thought the gator was just protecting its territory, and it was just kind of a warning flare to this kid going, get out.
What sparked the whole thing is they were talking about, you know, this kid fought this gator off. I mean, it was what he did to make that alligator let go. You know, this alligator was going to eat him, and then he jib-jabbed him and, you know, did the kung fu hi-on, and no, that's not the case. Of course, your natural response is, I mean, if you hear the kid's story, I wish I had the clip. If you hear the kid's story, then he says that he thought somebody was messing with him and was just kind of tugging on his leg.
Okay.
He kind of put his hand down, and he felt that it was an alligator, and he tried to hit it, and then, of course, it let go. Now, one is, if an alligator's coming in to eat you, there's 2 ways they work this. When an alligator grabs on for food, they do not let go. They have no reason to let go. Their eyes fold down into their heads, and they just rip and tear, and they do what they... If they can't have the whole thing, they're going to take what's in their mouth.
Okay.
They're at least going away with something. Consolation prize.
Yeah.
If it's your hand, your leg, you know, if you see an alligator attack and the dude's missing his hand, that was a hungry alligator.
Okay.
99% of the time. Because they just don't let go. Now this, in my experience with alligators, and I've been doing it for a long, long time, over 30 years, this is a case that I see, not a biologist or anything, of course, is an alligator, him getting too close, either to the grass or to the weeds. Apparently he was in a grassy area, and he was just too close to this alligator. And here's my scenario, what I picture happen. This kid stops his bike. The alligator sees him. Kid gets in the water, alligator just sinks down, trying to hide. He's like, I ain't fooling with anybody today. It's 2:20 in the afternoon, not their prime attack time. They're nocturnal mostly. Now, they are opportunistic, and they'll eat when they can, but this is just not the time. When he's probably digesting,
Sure.
probably in the sun, just trying to digest. So this kid's out there, he's floundering around, he's getting a little closer and a little closer, and all of a sudden, this alligator's got his little shutters up. He sees the kid. The kid's really close, and he just makes that lunge and just a quick shake and lets go. And that's basically his way of saying, look, you're too damn close to me. Let's back up.
Sure.
Get away. It's my area. Could have been a female protecting something. Could have been a male protecting, because they're very territorial. They said it was about 9 feet.
Wow. So if he was feeding and attacking, that was end of story.
Yeah, we'd have a different news story.
Yeah.
This kid would have first immediately been drug out to the water, deep water and under, period, that quick. They don't let go. It's like channel locks. You lock them down, they're locked.
Well, he made national news, that's for sure.
Well, he's lucky. I mean, if I was the parents of this kid, obviously I would iterate not to go down to the lake. I did as a kid, and there's no way I would let my kids, when they were young, do that at all.
Right.
So, he's certainly lucky. I'm not taking that away. He's got an alligator tattoo.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how I feel about those. That's pretty awesome. What's sad is I guess the alligator left a tooth in him. A tooth broke off in his leg, and the state kept it for evidence. I'm like, come on, the alligator, what's the evidence? And they won't give it back. He wants a necklace, and they won't give it back to him.
That's crazy.
Come on, man. He's the one who got bitten. It's his tooth.
He earned that.
Yeah, so... I'd
what
give him
evidence?
I would make him a necklace.
What evidence?
I know. If it's a they want to test the DNA, what are they going to kill every little alligator in the lake?
But that was the other thing.
Exactly.
Why would they go pursuing trying to get that? Like you made a point on the radio, next week's gator season, give it time, he probably won't be there in a week or so.
Yeah, odds are.
But why even short of that, why would they pursue that gator?
Immediately, if you're talking that day, here's my feeling of it, man. I get emotional about this stuff. If you're there, you get out to the spot and you see this alligator, an alligator in the general area. Odds are it's that one. Okay, catch it, do what you got to do. But you can't be there a week later.
Yeah.
And try to catch an alligator.
Or even could you come back later that day?
Yeah, it'd be hard to say. How
would you couldn't know.
Exactly. There's no way of knowing unless you do the DNA. But then you'd have to kill this alligator. You do a DNA test. It's not your guy.
What? But
then what?
But there are hundreds of gators in that lake.
And, thousands and thousands, yeah.
And all the large ones are capable of killing a child or an adult or a dog or anything.
Exactly. That's why we have a
habitat.
Yeah.
So it just...
Yeah.
It seemed like a very reactionary measure to maybe just calm somebody.
That's what it is. Let's calm the public down because it's a panic. Because a lot of people, it's the word I'm looking for. It's ignorance in a sense of a lot of people just don't know.
Yeah, sure it is.
How not dangerous it is. Eventually, someone is going to come across an alligator's territory and get bit.
Yeah,
it's just the way it is. We live in this area. We have tens of thousands of alligators, but I've swam near them, by them, under them, around them. It's never happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that it wouldn't, or not that I've been lucky. I don't know. But if I promise you this, if anybody's going to get bit from doing stupid stuff,
been there, done that.
El Capitan, right here. I've been there, done that. I've studied their nest and watched the females run up to the nest and me stand my ground and them stop. Not dig through the nest, but just kind of stand by the nest to see the reaction. I've done my own study.
Yeah.
I've toyed with some emotions.
Some gator emotions.
Some gator emotions.
So I have monopolized the news story. Have you got anything?
Honestly, I was going to talk a little bit about that, and of course, all of our seasons and all that good stuff. So, because we got that was kind of leads into we got gator season starting this weekend.
This weekend, as in
the 15th.
The 15th. Wow.
Yes.
Friday.
15th. It's Friday. So gator season starts 5:00 Friday afternoon, and I have to work this weekend, which kind of puts us out of the fishing tournament for Saturday that we kind of wanted to do. Wah, 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 wah. So that's a bummer. I was kind of depressed about that. I really wanted to get down there and do that, but I'm going to make plans for the next one so I have time. So but I'll be able to hunt. My daughter has her tags.
Okay.
This will be her first alligator. So we'll get to go from 5 p.m. till I go to work at midnight, so we'll get to go 5. We'll probably go 5 to when it gets dark, right about 9. Which is prime time in my book.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so she'll be able to hopefully. I'm gonna take her out, and we're gonna try to get her a real nice alligator.
Cool.
We're not gonna do no 6-footer. We're gonna go 8+, I hope.
Well, I will be up in Atlanta Friday and Saturday, so I'll be watching the Facebook and hopefully seeing Krista.
Definitely watch it. We're gonna
Posting
shoot some
pictures.
videos and all that good stuff.
Great.
So that's gonna be fun. That's this weekend, and of course, this whole week, the first week is prime week, and she has 2 tags, so I don't have any buyers for the first 2 tags for the first week, so it's going to be awesome.
Okay.
We're going to do some.
Well, if you guys go out after the weekend,
definitely.
Let me know.
Absolutely. We're going to try to do it, right around the 5:36.
Sure.
We got a little bit of daylight to play with.
Yeah. Let me know if you go out this week. During the week.
We'll make it a point.
I'm down at
So
that end of town.
Let's
bring the camera gear and.
Let's do that. Let's set it up for one of the days.
For sure, daughter's great on camera and very personable. She's got a great personality, so she's great with that.
Yeah.
She's very engaging, I guess is a good word.
Yeah, I don't know how. She used to be so shy she wouldn't even order her own Big Mac. Like, baby, go get your Big Mac. No, Dad, you do it for me. Yeah. So she's changed.
She has changed.
So, and then the week after that we skip a week, and then the week after that's my tag start.
Okay.
And then we have a hunt there, and then the third week, Steve starts. Steve's tags, the ones that sit in with us on the show.
Now, are there other? We need to get him back on the show.
Actually, he wanted to come tonight, and I totally forgot. I'm not going.
Well, Steve,
sorry, Steve,
if you're out there, let's plan on next week. We'll get a third microphone set up in here. We'll get it on camera. He can have my seat or whatever. But we'll get Steve in here. I'll sit on his lap or vice versa. I'm sure we can work it out. So it's amiable for everybody. What are there other seasons right now that are opening or closing outside of gator season?
Outside of gazer season. What we're doing now, we're starting in the fall seasons. We're coming into archery season. So archery season actually is going to start this weekend as well. So we're going to have 2 seasons start. I mean, it's already started in South Florida, and it's working its way up to. So our zone, which is Central Zone, will start this weekend.
So that's hunting what with bow?
Hunting management areas. You hunt everything. Oh. During the first week of bow season,
it's a free for all.
20 days, everything is legal. Does, bucks, turkeys, female turkeys, male turkeys, and no other time is these opportunities available. You can only kill female turkeys during archery season. Period.
Really?
That is it. No other time during the year.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's for your primitive hunting, your archery hunting. So they have a fair chance. That's
great.
And you've got a fair chance. And I've killed a hen with my bow. Actually, all turkeys. I've killed 3 turkeys, and they've all been with my bow. I've killed a hen and 2 gobblers. So it's always been during archery season.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's just I love archery season. It's just, to me, you see more game. It's quieter.
It's a different kind of.
Yeah. And a guy really has to see you before he shoots you. First is just shooting in the bushes or a rifle or a shotgun. So, and one of my favorite management areas, and that's kind of going to lead into what I wanted to talk about as our management areas, is Bull Creek out in Osceola County. I think I've hunted there a lot of times, most of my life. And every year we go, I at least shoot at a deer. I kill a deer in most cases, but I at least shoot one.
Okay.
Shoot at one.
And where's that management area?
That's in, where Holy Paul is? If you go out east Osceola, you're headed toward Melbourne down 192.
Yep.
Your Bull Creek is on your right-hand side, about 40 miles out.
Pretty large.
It is huge. It's several thousand acres. I think it's 25 or 30,000 acres.
And what's the next closest one to us?
Is 3 Lakes.
Okay.
3 Lakes
north
is just west of that. So when you hit the flashy light in Holy Paul, going toward Melbourne on 192, you'll make a right on 441. That's called 441. It goes out to 60 and Kenansville and all that.
Okay.
Well, as you go down that road 15, 20 miles, 3 Lakes is on your right, and that's almost 60,000 acres. The state of Florida has 5 million acres of public land to hunt on.
It's incredible.
Which is more than any other state in the country, and most states combined.
Incredible.
I mean, you'll see like the state of Ohio, their largest management area is 20,000 acres. Our smallest is almost 20,000 acres.
Wow.
So I mean, that goes to tell you. I mean, we've got a lot of public land to hunt that people just. When we were in the Everglades, all that's management area.
You just put an extra syllable in Everglades.
and you found it.
Yeah, I like to.
I did dig it.
I like to point those things out.
Well, I caught you on the gazer, so we're even.
1-1.
1-1.
And go. Here we go.
So, we had Holy Land, we had Francis Taylor, and we had another one that we were in down there. I can't remember right off the top of my head. But those are all management areas.
Okay.
You can hunt down there. And they're available during gator season. You can apply for tags, but you and I saw how hard that was to get around.
Yeah.
Not very easy. So, I mean, we're just loaded with management areas. So, and there's tons of, it's $25
to enter the management area.
Yeah, you got to have a management area stamp with your hunting license.
Do you get that through the website?
Yep, you can right just same place we get our fishing license.
Okay.
You just add on your management area, and your hunting license, and
it's just a sticker you carry with you, or an extra.
Yeah, it's just
tag.
Another tag on your license that says you can hunt a wildlife management area, and that $25 goes right to all these taking care of 5 million acres.
Okay.
If you can imagine what that costs.
Sure.
It pays for itself.
Yeah, that's great. It's a
great
great deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can buy a lease. Get on a lease with 70 other people, $2,000 a pop, or you pay $25 and have access to 5 million acres. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Because you got duck season coming, and you have tons of duck season.
Good for a year, right?
It's good for a year. It's good from 1 year from the date of purchase.
Okay.
So if you purchased it halfway through hunting season, then you got the first of next year covered. Excuse me. So you have management areas that Emerald Marsh is duck only. And if you're a duck hunter and you don't know about Emerald Marsh, man, look it up. It's one of my favorite.
Well, is there a resource to go to?
Funny you should ask. Pow. It's myfwc.com. What you do is you'll click on the hunting after you click off the Viagra ad, and then you'll go down. When you see that.
Wait, go back to that.
Go back to the Viagra.
License and hunting. I got
you just go to hunting, and you'll see the WMA brochures, wildlife management area brochures, and you go down to that, and you click on that, and that puts us right here where we're at. And if you look, as we scroll down, you got the Northwest. How many is in there?
Holy
50?
smokes,
60?
Yeah.
And then you go to the North Central, and then you go to the Northeast.
Which category do we fall in?
We are going to fall in the North
Central? Okay.
That's where it's going to fall.
Yeah, Little River, Swanee, Cypress Creek. Really? Are we? This is Blue Springs.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There.
We're here.
Oh, Blue Springs is on there. Osceola.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's exciting. Homosassa. Just love saying that.
No, Homosassa, man. Do you see Three Lakes on there? Where's it? Oh, here we go. We're in the Northeast. That's where we're at.
Yeah. Half Moon, Jumper
Moon,
Creek.
3 Lakes. Right? Am I right? Mike, I'm supposed to know this. They're changing on us again? They changed it on me.
Well, anyways, move on, because it's a real exciting radio reading off that.
Yeah, exactly.
Dexter.
I'm trying to find that word. Okay, so, I mean, if you just look at the amount, and they have brochures on each one, and they have, send me an email, Rodney at rodneyrogers.com.
Why would I send you an email? I'm sitting right in front of you.
And,
Why would I send you an email? I'm sitting right in front of you.
I'll tell you some good ones that I've been to that I would think is worth looking at if you never hunted.
Now, on a more practical basis, I see that these maps lay out where they're at, between Highway 19 or whatever, you can get a general. Mm-hmm. But when you're out there in the thick of it, are there signs? Are there boundaries? Are there fences when I come up to that?
Yeah, there'll be fences. Now, the map will give you a general overview. It'll say it's here to here to here to here. Of course, you've got your GPS. You've got,
of course, the chance of you traversing the whole thing. But at some point, you're going to hit a boundary, especially if you start close to one.
Because I know in Three Lakes, there are boundaries that I hunt.
Okay.
Because they keep those fence lines cleaned out so they can access them.
Oh.
And it's a, deer and like anything else, path of least resistance.
Yeah.
So if you can hunt those fence lines at the farthest points, you'll watch those things walk right down it.
Okay.
So you got to have your safety equipment, your orange vest and your 500 square inches. There's a lot of things you got to have to hunt these areas, which is good for you.
Yeah.
So, your tree stands, whatever you can't have a tree stand out there, you have to put it up and take it down every single day. You can't go put one up and leave it for the season. They don't allow that. Now, there's people that do it, and they lock them up to a tree, and then they complain when it gets cut and stolen. It's $500 tree stand. It's gone. They're lazy.
Yeah. Now, can you sleep out there?
Yeah, they have campsites.
Is that allowed?
They have camp areas. Most of these, like Bull Creek, Three Lake, they have an area that you can camp. Now,
but could you leave your tree stand up and sleep?
Yeah, while you're there. Yeah. I mean, I go in when I hunt, like when I hunt Bull Creek, I go in at 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning if they allow us in. Now they don't have a check station.
Oh, so there's times and you just can't go and hang out.
Yeah, I mean, some you can get in super early, and some they let you in, about 4 or 5 in the morning.
Okay.
And I go in and I take my food pouch and my water, and I go up the tree stand, and I come down 9 at night. So I'm in that tree stand as high as I can get, because I've scouted.
Sure.
And I'm in that tree all day.
Okay.
I don't move. I kind of move with the sun. Keep the shade on. So, and that's it kind of, you see Emerald Marsh there in the northeast.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Okay.
That's absolutely one of my favorites. That's duck only. And it's a super amazing. Now, and here's another thing about these things. You really have to watch these brochures, because some of them are open only on Fridays and Saturdays. They're closed Sundays, and they're only open till noon. And I mean, so you're going to need these brochures, because it can be pretty tricky in some areas.
So it looks like they're all in PDFs. You can download them, take them with you,
absolutely.
Put them on your smartphone or your device.
Absolutely. So a lot of them have check stations. A lot of them don't. It's pretty much, but you do not want to get caught on one of these killing an animal without a wildlife management area stamp. It's a hefty fine. It's way more than $25. They don't. It's discretion. It's they'll hit you with a couple $100 fine and take your animal. Sometimes they won't even do that. They go, you can keep your animal, but don't ever do that again. So, it's just one of those. And you can hike on these. I mean, a lot of these have hiking trails. They have very clearly marked. It's a hiking trail straight through. Some of them have hiking trails that go across the state.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Three Lakes is connected to one that's 20, 30 miles long. So, I mean, it's no shortage of hiking and there's fishing. I've caught one of my largest bass in Three Lakes. I got on the GPS and I found this lake out in the middle of nowhere, and we drug the canoe through the woods and went fishing. I caught 2 bass. One was 10 ounces, one was 10 pounds.
Well, let me ask you this: what spurred your what went through your brain when you thought, I want to do a show on management areas?
What the fact is,
and I mean that sincerely. I mean,
because I have a 4-wheeler, and management areas are fun to ride.
Can you take your ATVs out there? Okay.
Now, they want you to stay on the main roads. You can't go plowing through the bushes and tearing up all the vegetation. But even if you stay on the main roads, if you go to Three Lakes, this is one of my favorite places to ride, there's enough roads out there you'll never have to get off-road.
Okay.
There's some of the roads go through the swamps, so if you're looking to get off-road, that's the perfect place. And you don't even have to, get off-road. And you can be out there all day and never hit the same road twice. Almost 70,000 acres of wildlife management, and it's just, you can't get enough. So I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit, because like I said, you can camp, you can hike, you can ride your 4-wheelers. Your 4-wheelers are not good to ride during hunting season. So now that hunting season started, you want to kind of keep your 4-wheelers out of there, because you're going to
scare them.
And take a lot of people off. You go plundering through there with your 4-wheelers all day. Midday, especially if you get off-road, you're not supposed to, but some people do. So I'm trying to look at how many thousands of acres Three Lakes is here. So some people do, and you don't want to be that guy. You really don't. To get off and say, hey, I'm off-road, and I've been in tree stands and seen guys 4-wheeling or in their trucks, hooting and hollering, drinking beer, and I'm in a tree.
That's not cool.
And they're under my tree. So, you kind of want to, respect the people that are out there.
Of course, yeah.
Trying to harvest, because they waited all year for this. It's just, you don't want to be that guy. So, this kind of 63,470 acres is Three Lakes. I knew it was close to 70,000. So, and if you can look at these maps, it pretty much tells you where all the roads are. And you see the legend down there, and you can see that you got check stations, you got the Florida Trail, the hiking trails. You see it just zigzags all through this thing. It tells you where the private land is. Somebody lives like right in the middle of this thing. If you look right, Lake Jackson. Ooh, that's a hot hole. So this is 441 right here. This is where you'll come in. This is the camping area. This is Williams Road. This is the main road. Now, there are no roads to drive where you see this arrows going, which is to the south. This is to the south. So this is from here to here is about 6 miles. You know, if you get back in here hunting, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Okay.
You know, if you do your scouting, you're in a good spot.
I'm going to ask you some elementary questions here,
Okay.
Mr. Rogers. So first of all, and be honest with me.
Absolutely.
Why should I care about management areas?
That's a great question. The management areas offer us a lot of resources. Birds, the original Florida vegetation, palms.
They're protected areas?
Everything's protected in there. You can't chop it up. You can't chop it down. You can't cut tree limbs to hang your tree stands. You can't do any of that. People do, but you're not allowed. You can't chop a tree down for firewood. You got to go get your own firewood. These are 100% protected. All the vegetation is protected.
Nobody lives on these things.
Nobody lives on these things.
Any of them?
None of them.
Okay.
The only thing they have is if you see my little arrow here at the entrance of this, there's one here and there's one there. There's a mobile home at the check station.
A ranger or somebody.
And the ranger,
Yeah.
they used to live there.
Right.
Now, resources have cut way down and all this stuff. So now
it's a temporary place.
Yeah, they just show up and check you in, and you got to check in and check out right here on this main road. And it's the only road in, it's the only road out. And if you can imagine, this is 63,000 acres of fenced-in property.
Okay.
Fenced in.
So these are management areas that are strictly protected and managed for the purposes of hunting?
Recreation. Hunting, camping, riding horses.
Is it similar to a forest preserve?
It's kind of like that. The only difference between a preserve and a hunting management area is
you can't hunt on a preserve.
You can't hunt on a preserve. Strictly viewing only.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Where here, management, they basically are managing the wildlife on there.
Okay.
You're only allowed so many squirrels. You can only hunt the squirrels and stuff. Now, during hunting season, if you have private land, then different rules apply.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's a statewide thing, but your management areas have different rules in their set.
But if someone like myself who lives in a subdivision, I don't own land, I don't know somebody own land, this is where I go.
This is where you go
to recreational hunt, blah blah blah.
Yep.
Whole thing.
If you're a guy that's never hunted before in your life, you just got done with a hunter safety class, you want to take your son, this is where you're going to go.
Okay. So that answers my question. So you start by looking for probably starting off the management area closest to you, maybe.
Absolutely.
Or if you want to get, if I want to take a trip to Miami, just so I'm not doing, you can look at where they're located, and like you say, there's a ton of them.
A ton of them. And
are they rated? Is there a way of going? This one's
Absolutely.
off. You obviously have your own opinions.
Absolutely. If you go on the wildlife management areas, deep down in here, you can get into much research you want. How many animals did they kill on this wildlife management area last year?
So my odds of killing animal X, if that's what I'm looking for, I might want this list of management areas.
Exactly. So if we go here, I'm going to show you.
Well, and the fact of the matter is, because certain animals are going to be in northern Florida, it's going to be just because it's natural habitat, correct?
Absolutely. You're exactly right.
So depending on what I'm looking for, might totally make a difference on where I choose to go.
I'm going to show you something right here, pal. Let me go back.
Burmese pythons, for example.
That's
probably not northern Florida.
Southern Florida. They're actually working their way up. Did you see the guy that he was eating cats in the yard right there in Pompano Beach or wherever that was? They're working their way up. I got a feeling we're going to start seeing these things farther and farther and farther north. So, there are management areas that produce giant bucks, and you have to apply for these. What's called quota hunts. Remember how we applied for the alligator hunt?
Sure.
Well, you do the same thing at the same time for these wildlife management areas that you quota hunt only.
The lottery type of drawing?
Exactly. So what happens is you're only, like here on 3 Lakes, your deer has to be it has to have horns of 6 inches tall at least. 2 horns at least 6 inches tall.
Okay.
I know they were talking about going to 4 points, where it had to be at least 2 on each side.
Right.
I don't think they implemented that on 3 lakes. But now there's one in here that it has to be 8 points only. You can only kill an 8-point or higher. Can't kill anything less. And then they go by spread. You can only kill anything with a 16-inch spread, give or take. So, and those are special. And one of them is right by this 3 lakes.
I want to hunt hogs.
Every one of them allows you to hunt hogs.
Okay.
Every one of them. If there's hogs, and some have more hogs, like 3 Lakes and Bull Creek has a lot of hogs. Where, maybe one up North Florida may not have as many, toward the center of the state. If you a little bit more swampier you get, the more hogs you're going to have. Now, hogs live everywhere. And things are all over the United States. So pretty much most of them have hogs. I think our Florida's largest wildlife management area is Ocala National Forest. That's actually a wildlife management area as well. And I used to hunt that one as a kid. Shot at a few deer there, but I was young and trudging through the bushes at 12 years old by myself. I really was in the beginning stages of honing my skills. Because at 12 years old, we went to Ocala National Forest, and my dad would hand me a 30-30 rifle and go get him, Tiger. Okay, and off I went.
Wow.
There was no GPSs. There was no, you paid attention. Now you just walk and you don't pay attention. You go, wait a minute, where am I at? And you pull your phone out and you go, oh, okay, here I am. In the early 80s, you didn't do that. If you fell asleep in the trail, you woke up lost. I know because I've done it. So it was a little spooky.
Do you have a compass?
No, I didn't even have a compass. I wish I did. I had a compass, but you're 12. You forget those things. A compass sure would be handy right now. So yeah, I got lost in it. Ocala National Forest at 12 years old. That was pretty spooky.
Wow. That would be very spooky.
Yeah, it was spooky. And the key is just I didn't panic, and I just said, okay, let me walk this way. So I kept walking back. I remember seeing a tree stand on the side of an old tree stand, wooden one on the side of a tree. I couldn't remember which way I was walking. I just remember that the direction I was walking it was facing the opposite direction. So I picked me a point, and I stuck a stick in the ground. I'm 12 years old.
That's pretty smart.
I stuck a stick in the ground, and I walked back and forth. I'd walk 10 yards this way, 10 yards that way. 20 yards this way, 20 yards that way. I kept coming back to the same point, and then finally I found that tree stand and went, okay, I knew it was that direction. So
It's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Long way around, but
it was
smart.
the long way around, but it was short of me panicking.
Yeah.
The fact that I was walking back and forth to a point that I could recognize
Absolutely.
was keeping me from
brilliant.
Panicking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I recognize this point. This is
Brilliant.
home right now. So, and this was my thinking. It's not anything anybody taught me. It was just my thinking. So going back to my point that I recognized, I was comfortable with that. So back and forth, because the more confidence, the longer you work your confidence, the more confident you'll be.
Sure.
So I finally found, where I was going. Whew, that was scary. I can go lie. Absolutely scary. Screaming wasn't going to help. You're in 500,000 acres of woods.
You kept it together, it sounds like.
Barely. I'm talking a wing and a prayer, dog. A wing and a prayer. So some lakes are actually considered wildlife management areas. So, there you have it. It can even be lakes. It can be like in 3 lakes. There's one called Lake Jackson, and it's a wildlife management area. You're only allowed a certain amount of fish. You can only keep these fish, and you can't keep those fish. So, it could be a lake. It could be land. It could be a lake within these properties.
So bottom line, it's gonna pay off to just spend some time poking around on the MyFWC website.
Absolutely.
At the management areas, open up these PDFs, look at them, get familiar with them.
And if you let's just say you decided you wanted to start hunting today, and you went through your hunter safety course and you want to find a place to hunt, this is the place to hunt. The funnest thing to do is scouting for your place to hunt. To me, scouting for my duck season or scouting for my hunt season was.
So you can go out to these management areas anytime.
Anytime during the year, absolutely.
Do I have to have a license just to go on and scout?
you have to have a management area stamp to go on and scout.
Okay.
But once you buy it, it's good for a year.
Okay.
So no matter what, you got
I can go on there and hang out there.
Absolutely.
Just as long as,
Yeah, look for deer tracks, bedding, what are they eating? You do your research. And we did that every year.
That'd be fun. Even that would be fun.
It's a blast, man. It's absolutely a blast. And when you do that, when you scout for your deer and you look for the vegetation areas and you look for the places that they walk and hunt and and they're doing their thing, and you put your tree stand up and you're successful, man, there's no better feeling in the world.
Do you have a tree stand?
I've got several tree stands, yeah. I got climbers.
Do you have a stamp?
A what?
You have a stamp for the management areas?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Can you take a friend?
You have to have your own stamp. You can't use mine.
Can you sit on one side of the fence and I can sit on the other side of the fence?
You can do that.
Do a podcast from out there?
One of the scariest moments I had when I was in the tree stand, I was hunting this fence line, and I see these guys come over from the other property, which is private property to the north of us. So they hopped the property, and they were instantly, whether they had their management area stamps, it's not illegal to do that as long as you have your management area stamp. So I'm in my tree, and I'm 30 feet off the ground, and I took my orange vest off while I was in my tree. So I put my orange vest on so these guys can see me and not walk my direction. So the minute I put my orange vest on, they looked at me and they kneeled down. They looked through pointed their rifle at me, looking through their scope because they didn't have binoculars. And I had my binoculars and I was looking at them, and I'm looking down the barrel of this guy's gun, and I'm like, you just don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I've got a big rail on my tree stand, so I dropped my rifle and I took my fire gun off safety and I put it right between his eyes, and I thought if I see a puff of smoke, I'll see the smoke way before
You hope.
Yeah, I hope. And when he seen me point my rifle at him, I zoomed, because I got 3x9x50, and his face just filled up my scope, and then I just seen him look up above the scope, open his eyeballs, and put his buddy on the shoulder, and they hop back over the fence. Because you just don't know.
Yeah,
you don't know what this guy was up to.
Yeah.
But it's kind of freaky, So if you're out there and you're listening, buy a pair of binoculars. Don't use your scope. Because I could have legally fired my gun.
Sure.
And it would have been, it'd have been
aggressive. Somebody's pointing a rifle
yeah,
at you. It's totally aggressive.
So it's not the thing to do. If you don't have binoculars, don't look through your scope.
Well, what else do you want to talk about management areas? Because we got a couple emails we need to get to.
Well, let's get to some emails. How's that?
All right. Yeah, perfect. We got some music, by the way.
Uh-oh.
Letters. We get letters. We get stacks and stacks of letters.
I love it.
All right, our first email.
First email
from a Terry Beisel. Says, my dad... Oh, hang on. I gotta have my music.
I gotta have your effects here.
My dad used to take me fishing when I was smaller. I've grown up and life has gotten busy, and I can't remember the last time my dad and I spent that kind of quality time together. Well, this year, I want to change all that. I'd love to purchase 2 fishing rod setups to take my dad fishing. Nothing fancy, just enough to allow us to stand on the banks of a lake somewhere and cast our lines in. It's more about the time together than it is about the catch. But I figured, who knows, in the process of hanging out, we might get lucky. Can you give me the rundown of the bare necessities that I would need to go buy for me to get started? I'm hoping for $100 or less. Love the show. Thanks, Terry.
Awesome. That is awesome. Well, Terry, that's easy. That's an easy question to answer.
Is it?
Because you know where I'm going to go with this. If you haven't fished in years and you want to keep that budget down, I'm going to go with the Zebco 33 every single time.
How much does one of those cost?
They're $29. I mean, and that real, how many I've got.
Okay, so $30.
So for $30, you got 2 poles are $60.
Okay.
Okay. You can put, they're 10-pound test line. I've caught 11-pound bass on 10-pound test line. They're good for crappie and tons of different fish. You can cast them 100 yards. So we're $60, and if you're going to look at gear, if you're going to just live bait fish, start with shiner hooks. If you're going to shiner fish, or if you're just going to worm fish, just buy the small hooks, the little 2/0 hooks.
What's a shiner hook?
A shiner hook it's a bait hook, is what it is.
Is it a lure?
Nope, it's a hook. It's just the hook
It's just a
itself.
hook. Okay.
And it's a bait hook that goes into the shiner's lips. A shiner is a bait fish.
Okay, gotcha.
They're natural in all the lakes.
So you're saying you would? Oh, I see. Using shiners
Yeah, it depends
as
on
your
what you're
bait.
fishing for. If you're fishing for, if you want a live bait fish, then you're gonna want shiner hooks and bobbers or balloons. If you're fishing with shiners, balloons work great.
Well, go back to the hooks. How much am I going to spend on hooks?
You're gonna spend about $4 a pack. You only need one pack for 2 guys. There's like 5 or 6 hooks in a pack.
$4. Bobbers.
And you can use bobbers or balloons. Bobbers are about 96 cents a piece. Get 3 or 4 of those in case your line breaks.
What's a balloon?
A balloon, just party balloon.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, just a balloon. So if you take the balloon, because you can make your bobber as big as you want.
I've never heard of that.
Really? Oh man, shiners it's amazing. So you blow up your balloon to whatever size you want, and you just tie it onto your string, and then you see your balloon go down.
How much for a bobber if I buy the bobber? $2?
96 cents a piece.
$2 for 2 bobbers.
Yep.
What else does Mr. Bisol need?
And then you buy a small pack of hooks, little 2-0, 2-0s, and that's going to be your worm hooks.
Okay.
If you're going to fish with live worm for brim.
Okay.
And then your smaller bobber, the bobbers that you buy will be good for that. So if you're going to live bait fish, believe it or not, that's all you need. You're good to go.
Okay.
So if you want to throw in a couple, if you got $100 budget,
Your license.
Okay, yeah, we're going to need a license. Good thinking. $17.50 each.
You're bringing them in just under $100.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. He didn't state in the email age if his father's a senior citizen.
If he's a senior citizen over 65, he doesn't need a fishing license.
Seriously?
It's free. All he has to do is say, hey, I want a fishing license. They'll give it to him. They just want to know he's fishing.
Okay.
We just need a tally.
So let's assume that he is.
Okay, so he's $17.50 for one guy.
So, okay, good. Look at you. Look at you, Rodney, answering questions.
So we're gonna put him in there.
That's $17.50. Good job.
So we should be right around the $75 range, just under $80 at this point.
Exactly.
Okay. So we've got $20 to play with. We're gonna throw in a couple artificial lures, just for the halibut. We're gonna throw in some $2 or $7 each. Rapala number 11, gold Rapala number 11.
Rapala number 11.
Yep.
At $7 each.
At $7 each. And I'll tell you this: that Rapala number 11, you've seen me fish with it. We've got videos of me fishing with that Rapala number 11. That it's in a plethora. You can catch smallmouth from Lake Michigan to walleye to muskie, all the way down to peacock bass in Miami.
Okay.
Everything in between. If I had one survivor lure, it'd be that one.
Okay.
Voila, we're under $100.
So he's set.
2 guys under $100, you're ready to go.
He's got his. So I mean, it's that simple. Terry, you've got two rods. You got your shiner hooks or your worm hooks.
Get your bobbers for both.
Bobbers or your balloons, steal them from your kids.
Exactly.
Your license is $17. And you're saying just as an option, take 2 Rapala number 11 at $7 a piece.
That's it.
There you go for under $100.
And you're, boom. And I'm telling you what, I would take that gear anywhere in the United States.
Very good.
And you're good to go.
So Terry, have at $100. I think that's great. You want to spend time. That's perfect.
Absolutely.
That's great.
That's absolutely perfect.
Give some feedback.
Thank you for the email.
Yeah, absolutely. You got time for one more, Rodney?
Absolutely.
We got one from a David Hackle.
Music.
Always the music. I'm all about the music. David Hackle says, have you seen the show Running Wild with Bear Giles?
Yes.
It actually says pause, wait for answer here. No, it doesn't. I don't know, Bear Grylls. He says Giles. I don't know what it actually is. It's a survival wilderness show on television. I know you're really into that kind of thing. And I was wondering if you could tell me what the 5 things you would need or want to take with you to survive on your own in the wild.
Okay.
So he's looking for a list. I guess it's a theme on our emails here. He's looking for a list of 5 things that you would want to take with you.
5 things. I'm going to go generally.
Okay.
Because it just all depends on location in the United States where you're at. But let's just say we're right here in Florida.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to go general.
Okay.
I'm always going to have a knife.
Knife.
That's my number 1.
Okay.
I'm going to have some kind of string.
Okay.
Rope string or something like that. It's just That's always a good thing.
Just for what? Making shelter, tying?
Yeah, I mean, it could be used for
drying your clothes.
Tourniquets. I mean, it could be used in a first aid situation and/or tying, your thatch up on your roof because you got palmettos to make shelter. I mean, it's got a lot of uses.
Sure. Okay.
That paracord is actually perfect.
Okay.
I'm always going to have some type of metal pot pan. If I've got my choice again to be in a survival situation, if I have my choice of 5 items, it's going to be some kind of metal pot or pan or something small, even if it's a metal coffee cup.
Okay.
You can boil water, you can cook in it. There's 100 different things you can do with it.
Okay. That's 3, Rodney.
Yep, and then fishing string and a hook, just a small hook and fishing string. You don't need a pole, you don't need all that. Just 30 feet of fishing string and a small hook.
Is that 4 and 5? Or are we counting
that's 4
that
and 5. Fishing string is 1 because that's 5 items.
Now that fishing string can't double as the other string and rope you had on there?
No, because your rope is actually going to be tying for heavy duty stuff. It's going to be like a paracord or something of that nature, and then your fishing string, it can be a braided line or a monofilament or something like that. You just wrap it around the stick, put the hook.
Okay, so you've got a knife, a string or a rope, a metal pot and pan of some sort,
yep,
a fishing string, and a hook.
That's it. And I'm telling you what, you can survive.
Where would be considered wilderness here in Florida? If I was to take you and go, I'm going to drop Rodney out in the middle of the wild, as David puts it here. Where would that be? Would that be Ocala National Forest, maybe? I mean,
even
are there
Ocala
places
National
that
Forest,
you're really remote?
That would be. Now, if you're looking for an area that's in Ocala National Forest, you can walk 30 minutes east, west, north, south. You're going to hit a road.
Okay.
Somewhere.
So it's hard to really get too much danger out there.
Yeah. I mean, people get lost because they're just walking circles.
Yeah.
So, Everglades, you and I have been out there.
Yeah.
You get out there, you don't have that road option, 30, 40 minutes walk. It's a 5 or 6 hour walk in every direction.
Yeah. Also don't have a lot of shelter out there.
It's
pretty open.
And you got trees.
But if you and I were to go, okay, let's take a weekend this Saturday. Let's go literally put ourselves in the middle of, drop ourselves for 2 days, and we're going to survive.
I've got that spot.
Do you?
I've been wanting to do it.
North or south? Which way are we going?
Not far from us, right here in Osceola County.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically off of Reedy Creek, and it's very, very. It's a creek, but it's not a easy navigable creek. We'd have to put the canoe in, cut trees to get over logs, and drag the boat, and I mean it'd be a trek.
Okay.
We'd have to get our physicals before we went and did something like that.
Okay.
It'd be a tough deal.
We could give each other physicals.
Hey, I got you.
Does that count?
It's gonna hurt you way or
I'll
more.
sign off on yours. You sign off on mine.
I've done that before.
All right, there's our email, folks.
And there you have it. Thank you so much for the email.
We get ladders. We get
I love this. This is awesome.
All right, so what do we got coming up? I know we're running a little bit long here, but I'm not sure
so we
care.
got Thursday. We've got the Kicks for Guns. And basically, it's where you turn in an unwanted gun. Probably anybody listening to us is probably not in that situation, but you may know somebody that is. And basically, it's no questions asked. If you have an unwanted gun you think might be stolen or just illegal, if you're not sure, then turn the gun in. You get a $50 gift card, or different locations have different things. Some of them are giving away shoes.
And who's putting this on? Is this sponsored by Crime Land or 104.1?
It's actually 104.1 is the one that started it after the Columbine shooting about 15 years ago.
Okay, this is the 16th year they've done this.
Yeah, exactly. And we've been a part of it for 7 years now.
I was going to ask you how
7
many
or 8
years.
years.
Okay.
I think this is my 8th year.
Okay, that's great, right?
So, and I'm telling you what, it's definitely no questions asked. When they pull up, man, the cops just go to the car, where's your guns? They'll pop the trunk, they'll get out, and poof, they hand them. If they got 5 guns, they give them 5 cards. So
now, I mean, how's it go? I know it's Kicks for Guns, but so it's the kind of the concept is we give you a pair of shoes for your gun. I mean, do they have a truckload of shoes there? Or do they give them a gift certificate
some of them do.
Store,
I mean, that's how it started out. Kicks for Guns. Basically, you bring in a gun, we'll give you new shoes before school starts.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it started out. But it's kind of morphed into every police station has, because what's happening is if you got people different size shoes, you always got extra shoes.
Yeah, so that gets wasteful.
Got to be not very productive. So they started giving out gift cards to Walmart, Target, gas stations, gas cards, all kind of stuff. So they take about $3,000 3,000 or 4,000 guns off the street every single year. And that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, can I read a couple facts here? Well,
Absolutely.
First of all, there looks to be like, if you go to our website, there's a link directly to the information to go to find out about the Kicks for Guns details. But there's a list of probably looks like 20 maybe different locations that you can go to. Which location are you going to be at?
I will be at 2 locations. I'll be at the
it's hard to do.
Yeah, you know what I do is I zip back and forth and give a gun count. It's the city and the county. Okay. We have the county sheriff's department, Osceola County Sheriff's Department, Bob Hansel.
Okay.
I deal with every year, and their PR lady Twist. And then you have the city set up normally around the Kmart downtown, and so we have 2 things going there.
Okay.
And I bounce back and forth to see how many guns each one has.
But this says the fact that Kicks for Guns has removed nearly 10,000 unwanted guns from the streets of Central Florida.
10,000. So picture that, 10,000 guns off the street. Do you think we saved any lives with that?
Oh, check this out. Last year, took in a total of 1,065 guns. This is just last year, with 52 of them being illegal or stolen.
Wow. I know
that's pretty amazing.
Year before last I was there, they found a Colt 45 that was stolen in 1979 out of California. So they were actually trying to get a hold of the original owner of this gun. Yeah, if you look at Kissimmee Police Department last year, 1 illegal gun they pulled off.
They haven't listed it, what the breakdown is, you know.
Yeah, Osceola, 3 illegals, 1 stolen. That was the handgun I was telling you about.
Palm Bay, 89 guns, 7 of them being illegal.
Now, illegal guns could be sawed-off shotguns. Most of them are just sawed-off shotguns, you know. And
okay, yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, and a lot of them come in sawed off, but they're still
meaning they
that.
Shouldn't be in existence because doing it this way is not.
They mean absolutely no good. It's not a duck hunting gun. It's not a protection. It's strictly for a crime.
This is true. I mean, something like this truly does. It makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's an incredible cause to be.
Absolutely. And there in Osceola last year, we took 112 guns off the street. That's the most out of all of them.
I'm proud of you doing your part, Rodney. I mean,
hey, man, it's all about the gator hunter.
I think that is pretty spectacular.
So yeah, I mean, it's not for the gun advocate. We're not trying to take your guns. We're not trying to start a war here. We're taking bad guns off the street.
You're giving people an opportunity to do the right thing.
To do the right thing. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's really,
absolutely.
Pretty amazing. You know what? I actually reminds me of a story, if I may.
Oh, please do.
And in a sincere, I remember the story of an old man walking along the up and down the shore of an ocean. And he's picking things up one by one, throwing them in the ocean. And a little boy's sitting there watching him, trying to figure out what this old man's doing. Watching him pick something down, throw it back in the ocean. The little boy takes off running up to this old man. He says, "Hey, mister, what are you doing?" He says, "Well, you see these little starfish? These starfish have been washed up on shore. And I'm taking them and just throwing them back in the water so they can live and survive." And the boy turns around and he goes, "Mister, look at all these starfish." He's like, "You can't make a difference." And the old man bends down, picks up a starfish, throws it back in the water, and looks at the little boy and says, "It sure made a difference for that one."
Amen.
Didn't it, son?
That's it.
So let this be a reminder that we may not change the world, but you may have an opportunity to change the world of someone around you.
Absolutely.
So.
That being said,
yeah.
As my mama said 1,000,000 times, and I'll say it 20,000 at least, you kids get outside and stay.